Hi, how's it going? So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Gurdjieff and the origin of the Enneagram. There's kind of this mistaken idea in the Enneagram community that Gurdjieff's Enneagram is not the same Enneagram, and you have different Enneagrams throughout time, and it really hasn't been put together before like this. As I'm sharing it with you in the common lexicon or framework. So, luckily, we have the internet, and we can study, and we have resources, and so we know now. We can put it together. Gurdjieff specifically described that the Enneagram, the fourth way, which was the source of the modern Enneagram. You have to understand that Ichazo studied Gurdjieff and Naranjo studied Gurdjieff. Okay. And Gurdjieff specifically explains that it comes from ancient Egypt. Now, he didn't write down that it was based on the Ennead, which is the ninefold divine family, but it is. And you can see when you match up the Ennead, it is in order going around the Enneagram. It is in order. There's a little bit of drift or overlap, between them, but these kinds of ordered correlations are evidence of a connection, especially when Gurdjieff also gives us the answer without telling us that it's the Ennead. He tells us it's the Ennead by giving us the source, which is ancient Egypt. Okay, so that is where the Enneagram came from. The entire Enneagram, the symbol he put together, and the ideas behind it all came from ancient Egypt. Gurdjieff essentially created that religion. He put the different elements to bring that religion together, if that makes sense. So every element is sourced from that time period, from ancient times. And I'm not, a deep scholar in Egyptian or history or any. I understand different disciplines, but I can understand the logic here and how it came together. So this is something that you find in occult disciplines where the answer is not always spelled out for you. You have to put it together yourself. And, there are just a few elements that we know started the Enneagram. And they were all there. The circle is the law of one. I wrote them down here in this post I made, this article. And there's the law of three. This was from Pythagoras, which is active, passive, and reconciling forces, of course. Law of seven, which is from Pythagoras. These are cosmological ideas, okay? So they were from that time period. And then the Enneagram points are from the Ennead, from the ninefold divine family. They are basically in order. The only reason they are a little bit off is because everything we have now is taken from Ichazo. Everything was kind of filtered, sort of funneled through Ichazo. Naranjo provided an outlet to balance it, but Naranjo studied Gurdjieff as well, and none of them simply wrote down that, hey, these are based on the deities, the ancient Egyptian deities. There's a Facebook group, an Enneagram of Egypt Facebook group. They know. They put it together because they can see the connection. They didn't spell it out, but it's something that is known. So suddenly it makes a lot more sense if you look at it that way. And, it's kind of this idea that we're all fixated within one of the deities. We all have, a predisposition, a distortion towards a particular viewpoint, symbolized by the Enneagram, worshiping a different god, if you will, or possessed by a different deity. And so you can study ancient Egypt, study these ideas and the deities of Heliopolis. They should be in order. And, the correlation I gave actually swapped some of them. I have a tendency to want to put them in proper order, actually, strict order, so that 8, which is my type, would be neph cis rather than set. But there's some drift, there's some overlap, and that's one reason why we have the wing subtypes. That it's really a little bit off, things are just a little bit off kilter. And that's why you want to study every author to get, the points around that circumscribe the Enneagram types. They give you an idea of what they are. So that's my contribution for now. And in my book, I'm going through in time trying to explain the different time periods, starting with the ancient time and then how it all contributed. Gurdjieff also was a Sufi, and I'm unpacking more of history as I do this. I have to kind of put history together as a historian, but, Sufism as well, you can study it geographically, but all these places are close to each other, and Egypt is in the Middle East, and there are all these overlaps, and it's just kind of this compendium of these same ideas that came together, these very similar ideas. And it ends up connecting to every single religion, fascinatingly. It connects to Christianity. We know the 8 deadly thoughts. It is even called esoteric Christianity. And of course, it connects to the ancient Egyptians. It connects to Buddhism in terms of, awakening and meditation and the false self, and Hinduism. It connects to literally every religion connects to the Enneagram. So it goes back to ancient Egypt and Pythagoras, and it's the oldest religion in the world, actually. And it's one reason why so many people like it, and it resonates with people who are secular, that it's a personality type system. It works with secular people because it is, it works with every religion. So that's pretty cool. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I just wanted to share that little miniature note.